What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni for a preview for tomorrow's Premier League game, Newcastle versus Chelsea at St James's Park, a ground that I absolutely hate going to. If you've been following Chelsea for a while, particularly in the past 10 years, you will understand why I never like going to this ground. Yes, some of you are saying, well, we did get the W last time. Okay, that's a positive, but the circumstances were kind of different because if you remember, there were no fans in the stadium, and St James's Park is very similar to Anfield. You get me? That kind of atmosphere where the crowd is the 12th man. They make a huge difference. So although Newcastle are not doing very well, they've conceded the second most goals in the Premier League. That is 19 goals in 9 games. It's a bit of a diabolical record, isn't it? But you get me? You can never be too sure. They've just got rid of Brucey. Unfortunate for him, nice guy, but it was just never going to work out with him. New manager, new ownership and all of that. Very ambitious, and they didn't feel like Steve Bruce could take them to where they wanted him to go. So unfortunate for Steve Bruce, a proper Geordie as well. So you can see how much that affected him, man. Unlucky Steve Bruce, but obviously onto better things apparently for Newcastle United. But before they get onto their better things, they got to face the mighty Chelsea first, and they've got their interim manager Graham Jones. I didn't know too much about him, but I did a little bit of research. He was at Luton for a little bit, didn't really do too well over there, and is now the interim boss at Newcastle. Surely he's not going to keep this position for much longer than just an interim basis, but you never know. You know, that new manager, quote unquote, new manager bounce, especially against Chelsea. You never know what can happen. But I've got confidence. We've got a manager like Thomas Tuchel, in my opinion, the best in the world. I'm not really sweating too much. Although Tuchel did bring up that we've got quite a few injuries. But obviously, before I come on to that, you see me, I was rambling. I was in the mode, but so I forgot to do this. Obviously, you got to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well, man. Love to hear you lot's feedback. I do my best to try and get back to every single one of you, so your comments are very much appreciated. But yeah, Thomas Tuchel did mention that we did have a new injury, and one that I didn't really want to hear. That is Mr. Mateo Kovacic. Yes, Kovacic will be out for a few weeks, and it's interesting because Mr. Tuchel did take responsibility for Kovacic's injury. He did say that maybe he did overtrain him a bit much, and now as a result of that, he's going to be out for the next few weeks. And it is a shame because Kovacic is one of our informed players, and he's quite the leader in the midfield. But it's like I said at the beginning of the season, and I've been saying up until now, that the depth of the squad is key, and every single squad, all the top squads in the Premier League are going to have to rotate, and we're no different. And this is where it comes into it. And the thing is that we've got a manager that's instilled a mentality in the players, because you can see it, that every single time they touch that pitch, they want to impress Tuchel. They want to earn their spot, and that's a good thing. And that brings me on to a player that I think is the perfect replacement during this time for Kovacic while he is out, and that is Mr. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Why do I specifically mention him? Because I think out of all the midfielders that we do have, Loftus-Cheek fits that kind of mold of that Kovacic style of play. It's very press resistant. It does drive forward with the ball. But I also do think at the same time, Loftus-Cheek poses a little bit more of a goal threat going forward. He is more dangerous in front of goal. So hopefully Loftus-Cheek can stay fit, can take his opportunity and cement his place in the team. Although I don't think the big boss is going to go for that pivot. I do think he's going to revert to Jorginho and Kante. I won't complain if it's that either, but you get me. I wouldn't mind seeing Loftus-Cheek in this lineup, and I suspect that he's going to be Kovacic's direct replacement in terms of doing that role in the Chelsea squad. So good luck to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Hopefully we see him play this game this weekend. Pulisic is back in training. Whether he will feature in this game remains to be seen. Obviously, Lukaku, Timo Werner are still out injured. So yeah, we are struck with a couple of injuries. But like I said, our depth is starting to show, and it's starting to show our quality in depth. And there's another player that I did want to mention, because I want to give him some props. Saul. I felt that he played very, very well in the EFL this week. I thought he did his bit, particularly in the second half. In the first half, you can see that he was going into it. Had a couple of opportunities to get some goals. Was actually very unlucky not to get the second goal for Chelsea. But I was a lot more convinced with what I saw from Saul. Maybe I wouldn't say throw him right in the deep end and start him at Newcastle. But I think as the game goes on, I wouldn't mind seeing him come on, particularly if we are ahead. But Saul, he did have a decent game. Does look like he could be be a threat in front of goal and could be that extra, you get me, like getting goals from midfield. He could be that extra player if he continues on with that little path that he's going down. So big up Saul. Hopefully that trend does continue. But yeah, honestly, just really looking at it, the form that Liverpool, I wish. The form that Newcastle are in, it's just not good, man. 19 goals conceded in 9 games, the second most in the Premier League behind Norwich. It just doesn't look good, does it? But that's not really to, I'm not going to be too naive, and I'm gonna humble myself, because Newcastle do have 1 or 2 danger men in that squad, and one of them being the very exciting Alan Saint-Maximin. That guy is definitely the maverick of Newcastle. Very unpredictable, a very skillful player, uses a lot of flair in his play, likes to beat players, very entertaining, that kind of player that gets people off their seat. And we are going to have to definitely keep an eye on him, and I'm going to explain my choices of wing backs for this game 100%. But I do think we have enough in our back 5 to take care of him. Obviously, you've also got Callum Wilson as well, a very, very dangerous finisher. I do rate him. I do feel bad for Callum Wilson. Earlier on in his career, I thought he would have gone perhaps to, he would have been playing at a bigger club by now. But unfortunately for him, he's had a lot of knee injuries. But nonetheless, a very, very deadly finisher that we've got to be careful of. But at the minute, Chelsea, we've got the best defence in the world, man. I'm confident of dealing with anybody coming that we face. That's how confident I am in the squad. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight into the lineup. I'm not really going to go on too much in this preview. But I'm going to go into the lineup. The best goalkeeper in the world starts in the gates. You get me, man, like Edouard Mendy, man. Round of applause every time I say his name. And I'll say it again, the best goalkeeper in the world. My wing backs will be Chilwell, and on the right side will be Reece James. Both of them, you know, we know they can score goals. Ben Chilwell in particular can't stop scoring goals. So we've got a very similar problem as we had with Marcos Alonso. The form that Alonso was on before we started playing Chilwell, I mean, he was doing very, very well. At some stages, he looked exceptional. He was contributing to goals. He was pushing forward at the right time. Even some of his defending was good. So there was a reason why he kept him in the squad. We all understood why. But when Ben Chilwell got his chance, he took his chance. He just been scoring goals and scoring goals and scoring goals. And that's what we need in the squad, especially now that we've got our main attackers that are out of the squad. So definitely we've got to see Ben Chilwell. And he's going to have to keep up with the pace with the likes of Saint-Maximin and then man there. So to have that extra bit of pace, a man that can get up and down them flanks is going to be important this game. So I want to see him start. Same with Reece James. We know how dangerous he is, how integral he is in our attack, man. Full-back play in modern football is so key, and you can see the difference when we have Ben Chilwell on one side and Reece James on the other side. This is the perfect scenario where we can do that. We can constantly get in behind Reece James. We know with them lethal crosses, whether it's from deep, whether it's from out wide in the final third, Reece James has got a fantastic ping on him. You get me? Same with Ben Chilwell, man, and they're very comfortable in front of goal. So yeah, it's gonna be, I think it will be their day tomorrow. In that middle, I think it's going to be Jorginho and Kante. I mean, why not? If you've got your 2 best players available, why not? Kante, he's had his time off. Jorginho, he's had his time off. These 2 guys are going to be fresh. I mean, the game after this that we're going to be looking at is Malmo away, so I can't see why Tuchel will be resting either one of those players for Malmo away. We took care of them at home, so no disrespect to Malmo, I expect it to be a formality when we go over there as well. So I would like to see that pivot. And then that front 3, left wing, Hudson-Odoi must start. He must start. After the game that he had against Norwich, I believe that he's earned his spot playing in that left wing, and hopefully he can pick up from where he left off, and I would like to see him get a goal this game. That directness that we saw from him, that willingness to just isolate that defender, go one-on-one, beat his man, try and get in behind, bring the others into play. That's the Callum Hudson-Odoi that I wanted to see. But I am taking it into context. It was against Norwich. I do want to see consistency. And while the injuries are there, while Werner's out, while Lukaku's out, you get me, Hudson-Odoi, it's time for you to take your opportunities. This is a new game. I expect you to go out there and pick up from where you've left off. This is a Newcastle side that is struggling. Like I said, 19 goals in 9 games. This is a perfect opportunity for him to get a goal. The same with Kai Havertz. Yes, Kai Havertz did get a goal, not against Norwich. It was against Southampton. You see, I was close in it. I was close. So, well done, Kai Havertz, for getting that goal. But aside from that, you didn't really light up the place. I'm expecting to see that performance, that standout performance, that undoubtable performance from you, Kai Havertz, to say, yes, Kai Havertz is back. He's back on form. He's going to pick up the mantelpiece from where Lukaku left it. We ain't got to worry. I need to see more goals from Kai Havertz, or I need to see a masterclass where he's going to be involved in every single one of the goals scored. I want to see some form from Kai Havertz. And then on the other side, it's gonna have to be Mason Mount. It's gonna have to be Mason Mount. I don't trust Ziyech to come back into the lineup. I've just lost my faith in Ziyech altogether. Now I know that can come back and bite me in the arse, and some of you might say, oh, you know, yeah, just give him time. Nah, man, this guy is a senior player in my opinion. He's one of the oldest. He's at like the peak years. He's always coming into the peak years of his career. He should be a consistent performer. You get me? He deserves the least time out of everybody, because people tend to forget the core of our squad is very young. I'm expecting Hakim Ziyech to be hitting the ground running. He's been at the club long enough now. You get me? There's no excuse. So if he ain't doing it, Mason Mount will. You get me? Off the form he's on, I ain't got to say too much. The hat-trick against Norwich, just that overall play, man. We've got to have Mason Mount involved in this. So yeah, that would be my lineup against Newcastle. What's my prediction? I'm expecting, well, a lot of people have said 2-0, so I'm going to say 3-0. 3-0 Chelsea. Yes, I would like to see another clean sheet. I am convinced we do have the best defence in the world. In the Premier League, we have only conceded 3 goals, and none of them being from open play. And we are 9 games in. You've just got to look at the opposition that we've played, and you cannot lie to yourself and say that that is not an impressive record. I do expect that to continue against Newcastle tomorrow. But yeah, let me know what you think about tomorrow's game. Would you do anything different from my lineup? What are your predictions as well? And what do you think about Kovacic's injury? And whether anybody's heard any news about when Lukaku or Werner's coming back, man. We need to know when our boys are coming back, because you see, after that international break, it's going to get a little techie. We've got Leicester, we've got Man United, we've got them man there. But it's like I was saying before, the injuries, never a good time to have injuries. But considering the games that we're coming into and then that international break, if there's any time to have it, this is probably it, because now our injured players are going to stay at the club. They're not going to travel with their teams internationally. They can focus on recovering. They can get back into their training methods on their own, slowly integrate back into the first team, and hopefully we can get them back and fit for those games and continue our run for 3 points and hopefully what will be our quest for the title this year. But aside from that, obviously, come on, you Blues. 3 points tomorrow. Don't disappoint the mandem. You get me? Aside from that, I hope everybody is good. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. And the important thing is share the channel, share the video, share the content. If you want to see this channel grow, you lot got to help me out here as well, man. Obviously, we've got to get up there on the YouTube algorithms and all that. But yeah, man, listen, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please be safe. You get me? And oh yeah, one more thing before I do go. If you are in New York, on the, I believe it's the 2nd of November. Yes, I want to say the 2nd of November. Let me check the flyer before Tubes kills himself. Blood, you don't even know the red hair. You get me? If you are from New York, and particularly if you're an Arsenal fan and you make them bad decisions there, on the 2nd of November, we will be doing episode 100 live. Yes, me, Troops, and Zar at the Jack Doyle's bar. It is first come, first serve, and you do not have to pay for a ticket. But if you are there and it is at full capacity, you will not be allowed to participate. You will not be allowed in. So I'm just warning you, make sure you do get there early enough. We'll be there from 5:15, but the event will start at 6 and it will finish at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, that is correct. So make sure you are there. And yeah, man, like I said, make sure you be safe, man, and make sure you tune in for the next video. You get me? Bless.